Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗣𝗽𝗀𝘁 channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me Shekhar Iyer with the latest goings on in India. A lot of stuff that we have to share as far as the national parliament's breach of security is concerned. What happened there? How could this have been possible? Who are the people? Was there a connection between that and the 15, or I should say 14 suspended MPs, 13 plus 1, and much more than that? And here is a request to all of you to like this video, and also if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel of ours. Thank you so much. Let's welcome Shekhar Iyer. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to 𝗣𝗽𝗀𝘁 channel.
Namaskar, Sree Iyer ji, namaskar. Namaskar.
Sir, lots of theories floating around, doing the rounds. A name of a particular Congress leader also is being mentioned as the chief person who planned all this stuff. We have no proof, so therefore we are not going to put the name out. But you have got something to say that Parliament security breach, opposition hand. I would like to know what hand you're talking about, sir. Is it the symbol of a certain party or a person's hand, or what is it, sir?
Well, it does appear to be that there is somebody behind these six people, 5 men and 1 woman. There is somebody behind all this. And somebody who timed it in such a way to take, attention away from 2 things. The spectacular victory of BJP in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. And the second is, all of us were, completely frozen by the seizure of huge cash in Jharkhand, in Odisha. And that is that of the Congress MP, 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆. And people are saying that 350 crores in cash, all 500 rupee notes in hundreds of bundles. And the counting has been going on, and probably right now the machines are all exhausted. And they say that they're further listing everything, other things, jewelry. And today, after all these days of silence, that the particular MP, 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆, has said, this money has nothing to do with the Congress. None of us said it has to do with the Congress. We all said it was his or his family or whatever, but eventually it would be used for the Congress. Sir,
there is a saying in Tamil, my father is not hiding behind the bush.
and also, sir, there is also a saying in Odia, and that it goes like this: Takuro ghara ke mu kodali khaini, which means, who is in the puja room? And the voice says, I have not eaten the bananas meant for Nevidya or Nevidya. And sir, in many homes, it is the banana which also plays the role of agarbatti stand.
Yes.
So it is a case of missing agarbatti stand. So, but nobody said that the money belongs to the Congress. And Congress kept on saying that it has nothing to do with. But all we are saying is this money was definitely meant for elections. And sir, today, the 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆, I'm dwelling on that because 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘆 says that, this is meant for my business. Sir, I wonder which business is permitted under today's cash regulation to use 350 crores in business. You and I cannot deal in cash more than 20,000 rupees. And who is bluffing whom, I don't understand. And surprise all, sir, the breaking news is Congress has finally decided to do chanda, go for collection. They are going for cloud, what they are calling it, Desh, donate for Desh. And they are going to call it as donate for 𝗤𝗽𝗻 Bharat. This is going to be what they are calling it, largest crowdfunding campaign by any political party. The first time Congress has realized that it better get funds on its own and not depend on leaders who are kept the cash to increase their clout within the party. But there is a condition. You will have to go into their either go into their portal, which is the www.e.in. I want to do a bit of publicity for Congress today, sir. Please donate. And the second is they have created a separate link, which is www.donateinc.in, and then you have to give it multiples of 138. You can donate 138 rupees, 1,380 rupees, 13,380 rupees. Now, what is so important about 138? Numerology? No. Because Congress wants to celebrate 138th foundation day of its formation. And they are linking up this cloud formation with that there was the Tilak Swaraj Fund in the 1920-21 with grand plans to mark a grand thing. Now that 350 crores have been frozen because this has come. Because when you say this, many Congress leaders tell me, no, you cannot insinuate saying that those funds were meant for us. But definitely, and we have planned this much earlier. No, I'm saying all this because one seriously wonders what is the timing? Because we are now told that that particular attack was, the breach was not meant for that day. It was meant for December 14th. But the whole story where it is coming out. Sir, for instance, today's disclosure. Lalit Mohan Jha, who is the main handler, he's a person from Bihar, but who is settled in Kolkata and he can read in Bangla. And they have just found out that in one of his diaries, he has made a noting that India needs a bomb. Then he goes on to say in Bangla that India needs a bomb because, we have to, India needs a bomb to put an end to, dictatorship and things that, tyranny, injustice, and etc., etc. And one thing is not coming clear, sir, which is the agencies are still trying to find out who is behind all of them. Because we have this 5 people who have been caught. And the 6th person is this Lalit Mohan Jha, who is supposed to be a teacher in Kolkata. And his neighbors, everyone says that he gives private tuitions, a very helpful person. And nothing he has done to make them suspect that he could be involved in this. His father also says, no, my son is a good person. Mother says, no, he has never done all this. And he's a person, sir, who videographed those 2 people, a man and a woman, that is Neelam, and a person called, I've got the names, a person called Amol Dhanraj Shinde, a 25-year-old boy who came from Latu. And they opened up that smoke outside Parliament and then ran away. And ran away with the mobiles of everybody. He has already collected these mobiles. Then, as per whatever he's saying now, he ran away to Nagaur in Rajasthan, where another friend helped him in finding a hotel, and he has also been arrested. And they stay there, monitor the news, and for whatever reason, they come back and surrender to police. Now, in the meanwhile, he has destroyed those phones. He says he set them on fire. Now, obviously, police won't let him off that because police somehow managed to, even if you destroy your phones, your messages are there in the servers of the service providers. They got to find out, but still, who provided the money? And sir, for a 26-year boy, Sagar Sharma from Lucknow, who is supposed to be driving auto. Then you have Manoranjan Devraj Gowda, 34-year-old, who was instrumental in getting the pass from the BJP MP Pratap Simha. Then you have Neelam Singh, who is again 37-year-old. She is supposed to be a highly accomplished woman because she has got degrees up to MPhil. Then you have this Lalit Jha. Now, so far what is police are looking at is between these people who are, 2 of them who jumped inside the house and 2 who, set off those smoke bombs, and a person who helped Lalit Jha with in Rajasthan, and Lalit Jha himself. And Lalit Jha is a person between the real conspirators and these people, because these people seem to be not aware, but they seem to be sufficiently brainwashed. Sir, when I was covering the Naxalite movement way back in 70s, and I'm talking of 80s, and I've been to Naxalbari where the movement was born. I've covered the Maoist operations in Bihar, in Telangana, in Odisha, Jharkhand. So the standard practice used to be they have what is called the 3 phases. The first phase is called the organization phase. And for long, our security agencies have been saying that because of the heat in the jungles following coordinated police action in Jharkhand, Odisha, I mean, there is a unitary command and there is a lot of exchange of intelligence. It has become difficult, with the CRPF and specially trained forces operating in the jungles. They are shifting to urban areas. And wherever, whether urban or jungle, they always follow what is called, the first stage is called the organization stage, where they try to be Robin Hoods, they try to be do-gooders, win the goodwill of the community where they are staying, and arouse no suspicion. And even they act in such exemplary way, they will get sympathy if they are caught in any acts. That's first phase. The second phase is called the guerrilla action, the guerrilla phase. That's when they start using their arms. Because whenever action is taken, they have already built up a case, they can get sympathy of the people whom they are trying to help. The third phase is what is called the liberation phase, where they declare areas as liberated and they hold their own courts, collect revenue, indulge in extortion. There are three stages. Now, this stage looks like, if you look at the 𝗏𝗡 Jars, that seems to be somewhat straight from, of course, they're calling themselves, they are all fans of Shahid Bhagat Singh or even Netaji Subhash Bose. But there are certain things that is so noble. The inside the Parliament House, from the visitors' gallery to the floor where the members are seated, it's at least 10 feet. And these people knew which was the lowest point from where they could jump. Sir, if you jump from 10 feet or 11 feet or 12 feet, you cannot make a normal landing unless you have been trained to do that. Now, who are to train to do these jumps? Either the official agencies which are training forces, particularly the Special Action Group, the commandos, they are trained, black cats, greyhounds, they are trained to do these kind of jumps. Or the divers, paratroopers, they can do this jump. Normal people cannot jump, no matter what shoes they are wearing. And to jump after that, to land on your feet and then start hopping across the benches, unless you have been trained. And I believe most inculcate or give that kind of training in the jungles. Now, how are these guys trained? Sir, if you and I walk down a stairs and we miss one step, we will have a muscle tear, or worse, we have a fracture.
Very true.
And I myself had an experience in the old Parliament building. A group of school children had come to watch, and I was going up to the press gallery. These children suddenly came rushing down. They pushed me. I missed 2 steps. I ended up with a terrible muscle tear. And I had to take rest for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Way back, I'm saying. So therefore, there is something more to that. But so far, what I get to hear is agencies are working hard, they're tracking everything, and many more things will come. And the opposition reactions are particularly. Now today, we are seeing already the sympathy with the security breaches is coming on. And let's hear what Rahul Gandhi said today.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
सुरक्षा ब्रीच हुई है, वो है, बट क्यों हुई? जो देश में सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है, बेरोजगारी का मुद्दा, जो पूरे देश में उबल रहा है, मोदी जी की पॉलिसीज के कारण हिंदुस्तान के युवाओं को रोजगार नहीं मिल रहा। तो ब्रीच जरूर हुई है, बट इसके पीछे कारण बेरोजगारी है और महंगाई है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, first thing, he has stopped dyeing his hair. He has stopped dyeing his hair. He's now back to his brown, which has always been his hair color. He used to dye it black.
Sir, but you see, he feels that these boys who have done this thing, they are not boys, they are young men. And he says that they have highlighted the issue which he has been highlighting. Because he has been talking about unemployment, but then suddenly he started talking about OBC caste census. And that issue didn't do well in these just concluded elections. And now he says there has been a security breach. There may have been a security breach, but they have highlighted unemployment. I'm already seeing the ecosystem which is backing the opposition. They started talking about these issues, and they feel, they are elated that the issue has come back to center stage. And already a person who has volunteered to defend them, he was seen with the company of in the Bharat Jodo Yatra. And there are people like Prashant Bhushan who have never hidden their leaning towards ultra left. And they have also, he has also said, look, these people have highlighted issues. So as if the incident happened in Parliament to highlight the issue of unemployment. So one can see somewhere along that this particular episode has to have been planned by somebody who realized the outcome of these elections, who got worried about this breach, though the planning must have been gone long, but the idea was to divert attention. And said the opposition reaction on that day. So soon after that, the House, meets. Briefly, it is adjourned and it meets within 15-20 minutes. And the Speaker says, the responsibility for Parliament security lies with my office, with me. We have taken a serious view. We have ordered an inquiry. And the breaches happen inside the House. And we will appoint a committee, go into it and see who is responsible. We'll take severest action. And let us send out a message that we are not affected by these incidents. Let us get on with the normal legislative business. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was in the House. He says, look, this is a serious matter. The government will join in the investigation and see that where things went wrong. And of course, this is not the first time this kind of thing can happen. In fact, I have the list of those incidents. This is not the first time, Rajnath says. But the opposition, you can see, initially they were taken aback and Rahul Gandhi was present inside the House on that day. Normally, he is not present at the tower. The special mentions and all, Rahul Gandhi doesn't sit. But that day he was there. And congressmen are more agitated because this incident happened in the presence of Rahul Gandhi inside the House. What if they had carried bombs? And these people, they take out plastic canisters so that only they can avoid the metal detectors. And they open that gas. And we are told later, following the police interrogation and what is coming out of the media is these people held on to the canister because they feared if they had thrown it, people would think they had thrown a grenade and they may be some security person would have shot them dead. And the whole idea was to create a chaos, to create anarchy. Now, why there is suspicion that left radical elements? Incidentally, there are people in, I would not want to name the opposition leaders now because that would mean like I'm suggesting something. But they have in their secretarial staff people who have strong leanings with these groups. I do not know whether this investigation is going to come there, but I'm serious. And the Maoist principle is very simple, sir. They say the current system, the constitution, the current constitutional system of things is not working for the people. There has to be anarchy, there has to be chaos. Then only a new system will born. Gone are the days of when Mao, they used to quote Chairman Mao Zedong, who says power is to come from the barrel of the gun. Now they say there has to be chaos. And the whole idea seems to create a chaos. And so look at the planning, they approach a BJP MP. One person is depicted, this 𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And his father calls up Pratap Simha, the member of parliament, the BJP member of parliament, Mysore, frequently for the pass. And Pratap Simha gives the pass. The pass is given. They keep on pestering once a pass is given. And they come during the budget session. Then again, the attempt is made to seek a pass during the next session, that is monsoon session. But pass is not given. Then the winter session comes. Again, effort is made. Sir, members of parliament are constantly under pressure to issue passes from their constituency. And I can share a truth, sir. Most of the members of parliament are not aware to who the pass is issued because it is handled by the secretarial staff. Who handle their constituency? Those people come when the parliament is in session, and after the inauguration of the new building, there has been a stream of people coming. And members of parliament are, they have to encourage these people from constituency. Particularly in the case of Manoranjan Devraj Gowda, Devaraja Gowda, the father, is known to the member of parliament. And since then, the police have been talking to Pratap Simha. Now, the opposition outcry is, since you you expelled Mahua Moitra for, on a serious matter like, compromising for herself for asking, letting someone else ask questions on her behalf for some consideration. Similarly, Pratap Simha should be expelled because he allowed this breach, and the breach is such a serious breach which threatened the life of everybody. As if Pratap Simha was hand in gloves with the people who were coming. And the fact that these men had come in earlier, done the recce, and also realized that it was easier to carry things on your shoes because your shoes are not checked. That they found out. Now, this kind of meticulously looking at the gap of security agencies cannot be done by men who are simply moved by Shahid Bhagat Singh. Now, why Shahid Bhagat Singh? Because Bhagat Singh had similarly, thrown a bomb along with, he had thrown a bomb along with Katra Dev. That was on April 8th, 1929. In what was then called the Delhi Central Assembly, which was also known as India's parliament. Now, Bhagat Singh had also fired 2 shots. They were overpowered and arrested. And subsequently, Bhagat Singh had a case of homicide filed against him. And in 1931, 25th March, Bhagat Singh was hanged to death in Lahore jail. And if you visit Lahore and you go to the jail, there is a placard where he was, the cell in which where he stayed. And there is an inscription rather where he stayed. Now, people are drawing inspiration from Bhagat Singh, but Bhagat Singh fought against the British imperialists, British rulers. But these men say they are inspired by Bhagat Singh. Now, I have not seen Maoists. Of course, Bhagat Singh himself was moved by the communist movement. He himself had affiliation with what was then United Communist Party of India. Of course, today Bhagat Singh is hailed as a great patriot, a daring patriot. And today's image is not that of a communist revolutionary, but one who is seen as a person who laid down his life, who feared none, and who wanted to send a message that freedom of India was due. Now, that's a different story. But today, you have people who are using Bhagat Singh's name, but are actually playing to the game plan of left radicals. Now, who are these people? What is the timing of this? And everybody was saying, Shreyaji, that between now and the Lok Sabha elections, you're going to see such incidents. To send a message, look, what the Prime Minister Modi considers his best USP in terms of enhancing national security, that has holes. And this particular incident was intended to show that. Now, who benefits from that? Who wants to show that the so-called BJP's claim of foolproof security, of protecting Indians? Who wants to show that the government failed to protect parliament? Now, coming to the details, sir. Now, what they are saying is, look, the parliament is protected in 3 layers. The outer periphery is guarded by Delhi police as well as the CRPF. CRPF are the people who are completely, in fact, there is a separate I would call a detachment of the Central Paramilitary Forces who are assigned and trained specially for parliament protection. They do the outer thing. But once you enter and cross that frisking at the outer, once you enter inside, there are 2 friskings which are handled by the Parliament Security Division or the Security Department, which is a separate unit by itself, which has officers drawn from the Delhi Police, from the Central Paramilitary Forces, and even IPS officers are there. And they handle it inside. Now, the only breach that has happened is the breach inside because the shoes of these intruders were not checked. This is the only breach that has happened. The breach has not happened outside, for which the government of India, the Home Ministry would be responsible. But nevertheless, a question arises, the same question that arose, when Israel was invaded by Hamas, the Hamas terrorists who came in. and the rockets that were fired. And people then asked, what happened to Iron Dome? What happened to Mossad? What happened to that foolproof security system? So a similar question is asked if people, as far from Latur to Mysore to Hisar to Kolkata are getting connected on a platform. Is there no way they could have anybody could have come to know what was happening? If the ultras are involved, are ultras not under scanner? And all the time here, people were saying, we are under surveillance. Everybody, Big Brother is watching you. Now you know that Big Brother, if they're watching or not watching, he cannot watch all. Or he cannot watch the people who have to be watched. And the way opposition has gone about, even Rahul Gandhi, when he came, he did appear perturbed by the incident. But definitely, opposition did not want to give up an opportunity to corner the government. Now, opposition leaders tell me that they are comparing with what happened in 2001. Now, when the 2001 happened, I was in parliament. Yes, there was initially a commotion, then things calmed down. You saw leaders ringing up opposition leaders ringing up the government leaders to find out whether, say, for instance, Sonia wanted to find out where is Atalji, is Atalji safe? Advani ji wanted to find out, he was the home minister, he wanted to find out where is Sonia, where are the other leaders? Yes, because in that case, the terrorists belonging to Lashkar-e-Taiba, to Jaish-e-Mohammed, they came in a car with fake stickers, ramped into the gate and straight came to the main door of parliament and went to the gate where the vice president would have emerged. Because those days there was a lot of hangama going on parliament, the December 13th of 2001. The house, both the houses used to get frequently adjourned. These people were watching television, the live coverage. And they were waiting for, moment they know that house has been adjourned, all the members will stream out of the house to go to the car parking, to go home for lunch. They were waiting for that moment and they saw probably, but something got delayed. By the time they reached there were only very few people out and the MPs had not fully come out. Moment they came in and they started opening fire, the gates were immediately shut. And two people, a CRPF Jawan and a CRPF lady Jawan, both were alert. They sent their message to the walkie-talkie saying something worse is happening, shut the doors. So all the doors of the old parliament building were shut. That is how a big mayhem was prevented. Otherwise, the headlines that day would have been massacre of Indian members of parliament. Nevertheless, the six people, that is including one gardener who was tending to the lawn outside the Rajya Sabha gate, along with him, you had 5 security personnel died. Other 6. And among the terrorists, all were killed. And also the car had full of bombs, which was later diffused. And after that incident, the Prime Minister made a statement. Atalji said, and the whole House condemned it. But here the condemnation seems to be of the breach. Now you have heard the Rahul Gandhi statement. They want to condemn the government. Say, what happened to your security? Where is the Prime Minister? Because all that they want is Prime Minister to come to the house and they will do their archana. They are not condemning the incident. All that saying, this is serious, government has failed. But what about the people? Now you find support going for the people. Sir, this is a turn. This is bound to arouse suspicion. And the government is, I would expect government to make a statement about as to the conspirators and all that. Of course, the government initial response is these people were produced to the court and all these arrested men and a woman have been sent to police custody for further investigation. Now, definitely our agencies are working at who are behind it, who are the handlers, and who paid for it. Because these people, for a person like Manoranjan, who is supposed to be unemployed, to fly from Mysore to Delhi or from Bengaluru to Delhi, sir, at any given day, the tickets are not less than 12,000 rupees. Flexi fares today, the rates are very high among the all particularly busy routes like Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, or Chennai, Delhi. All these places the fares are very high given this current season. Now, who paid for them? And also, these people arrive here in a month. Somebody gives them a house. They have also been questioned. They have also been held. A couple. Who is providing all this? And are they connected to somebody who is telling them when to do it? Because gradually you notice the opposition, which was so concerned about the security breach, now Rahul is saying, there may have been a security breach, but it's important, the issue they have highlighted, it's unemployment which has caused it. So one can see that how, I think, and there will be now people are saying, let's wait and see who will defend these fellows. And people are already mentioning the familiar names we know who go to defend them, who defend people and save them from gallows until the last minute, if all recourse has been done with. Sir.
Thank you, sir. I have some noise in the background, so please don't mind that. I'll make my question really brief. December 19th is the next meeting of the I&DI Alliance. Now, that's one side. But has the Home Minister made any statement so far? He was supposed to give an interview.
No, he attended a media event where he was asked about, among other things, he was asked about this. He said, yes, it's a very serious incident. Agencies are looking into it. He said, look, now that statement also has been, they are pounced upon the Home Minister to say, if you can say this much outside, why did you say it inside? I would expect, sir, by Monday or Tuesday, when the Parliament meets next week, because the Parliament closes on December 22nd. So you can see that the next week is a very crucial week, because it's the last week before the Parliament will finish its winter session. The next session only will be February. That is, end of January and February 1st, you'll have an interim budget, vote on account budget. And before, the country heads for the Lok Sabha elections of 2024. Now, Speaker today, Om Birla, has written to all the members of Parliament and saying that because that day, because of the drunkers and placard and somehow to prevent, because Speaker was repeatedly appealing, let the message go that we are unaffected by this incident. Let the message go that, we want to, that things are normal, we won't get affected by this. But opposition was very particular to see that the House does not function. And that's why he had to suspend these people. And today he has written to them saying, look, and today he says that suspension is to uphold the sanctity of the House. And when the new building was, inaugurated, we had resolved that we will refrain from bringing placards inside the House. We will not create ruckus on the well of the House, because people outside don't appreciate all this. We must behave like serious parliamentarians. Inappropriate conduct doesn't get approval. And because of interruptions, I was compelled to take action. This is nothing to do with security breach. That I am not trying to put a blanket over the security breach. That's already been investigated by a high-level committee on all aspects of security, including issue of passes, and to prevent such incidents. And people who have served as senior officials in charge of Parliament security, they have been coming on television and saying, look, the whole thing is because the security senior higher ups who are handling Parliament security inside, they should have known the date, December 13th. And what had happened 22 years ago. They should have made more foolproof arrangements, and they should have kept abreast themselves, because world over today, a lot of terrorists are smuggling in weapons using their shoes. So full body gas scanning should have been done. And there are also reports that probably there was some equipment they have not been put to use. Now the whole thing is being reviewed. Yes, Prime Minister has not spoken a word because he wants the whole thing to come. Because the conspirators will have to be identified. And who knows, when the whole story comes out, everybody is going to be uncomfortable. Sir, but at the same time, I want to just recall the past incidents. Sir, the first such incident happened was in April 1974, Indira Gandhi's time. A person called Ratan Chandra Gupta, he shouted slogans. He was sitting in the visitors gallery and jumped from the visitors gallery, and he was carrying 2 pistols and pamphlets, and he had objects which resembled, people felt he was carrying explosives. A second incident happened in 1974 itself. And 74, we know, was a year there was great public unrest over the issue of corruption, and Indira Gandhi was in the dock. There was 𝗏 movement in Gujarat. That movement also spread to Bihar. and was leading to a situation where Jayaprakash Narayan started speaking out. That was the time it happened. So April 1974, there is one.
Sorry about that, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, sorry for the technical glitch. I was saying that 1974 was a year of great political unrest. The first incident happened in April 1974. And July 26, 1974, you have another person named Biplab Basu. He carries a dagger into the visitors' gallery. November 26, 1994, you have Satyadeep Singh carrying a dagger and something that looked like an explosive. And subsequently, sir, in 1999, you have an incident where a person named Badri Prasad and Surendra Chaudhary, on 2 consecutive days, they jump into the chamber on January 9th and January 10th. And there was one incident also when Narasimha Rao's period also there was one incident. Now, throwing of papers, attempt to jump in, these have happened in the whole building. But when that happened, nobody demanded Speaker's resignation. Nobody demanded Home Minister's resignation. But here what has happened is, as if this particular breach is some God-sent thing to corner the government. Of course, people are saying, comparing with 2001, why couldn't have, Modi ji had done what Vajpayee ji did? But the whole problem is that today the relationship between government and the opposition is such that they look for opportunities to corner the government, and the government feels that opposition is merciless. Even on incident like this, they don't want to send a unified message. Because otherwise, by now, Parliament should have condemned that incident. But more than condemning incident, you are already seeing expressions of sympathy because that these men have exposed the cause of unemployment. But the problem is all these men, sir, and women, they don't seem to be employable either, because I don't know how, and they appear to be brainwashed, because you can see they're getting onto a social media platform. And so far, thus far, whatever is, they look as if they are all innocuous persons who are, driven by a passion and who wanted a revolution. But it's much bigger things, sir, much bigger, much deeper. And probably when the whole thing comes, I don't think the opposition would be smiling today as they are doing.
Thank you so much, sir. I apologize again. I was on mute. I'm trying to drown out my background noise here. December 19th meeting that the opposition is planning to have. See, the air has left the balloon, I'm afraid. The way they have been fighting amongst themselves, for example, Akhilesh Vakhilesh and so on and so forth. This will be the first time that will happen. I'm also hearing that a couple of the state presidents of Congress have been asked to go, and new people have been asked to come in, and we will give you that information Monday morning with Rajagopalanji, where we have more clarity. I just know that there are some things happening. But
sir, breaking news is Jeetu Patwari has been appointed Madhya Pradesh Congress president because Rahul wanted Kamal Nath out, and he saw some resistance from Kamal Nath, so that has been done immediately. Jeetu Patwari has become the president of the Madhya Pradesh Congress. Sir.
And also, thank you. And also, we have, I think, Chhattisgarh president also has been changed. Again, these data is going to be coming out soon. But I still don't like this process of the center just nominating, selecting who should be, who should it not be. It doesn't sound right. Anyway, this is something that's a bone rankling in me. I think whatever it is, let's move on. Let's not waste time. So December 19th meeting, your prognosis on what might happen. Will there be at least a combining of forces? They don't have much time.
Shekhar, I gather that now that the Congress has realized that a lot of time has been lost because they were focused on the assembly elections, they want to come with some kind of announcement of a formula for seat sharing, so that the meeting sends out a message that the opposition is back in action and the Lok Sabha elections are not a done deal for Modi. That's a message they want to give. They want to say, look, this is the formula. This may be a panel which will work on the seat adjustment. They want to get back to that old formula, which initially was attributed to Sonia Gandhi and subsequently talked about, which is, that they will attempt as far as possible to put up a joint opposition candidate in as many constituencies as possible. Initially, they talked of 450, but I think that figures could come down. But we'll have to wait and see what's the response. Anyway, Mamata is here. Other leaders are also going to come here, and we have to see whether they can actually send a message. We have seen what happened in meetings in right from Patna to Bengaluru to Mumbai to a coordination meeting in Delhi. Now, this meeting is going to be important because Rahul will be attending that, and after that, he will probably take a year-end break, and he will travel to, because his earlier plans for travel were cancelled. He was supposed to go in between during the session, but then soon after the assembly results. But now he will go. Before that, they want to send out a message.
Sir, what can you talk about a person who has such wanderlust, sir? He wants to be going everywhere, any time, hundreds of trips he has taken. I mean, if this fellow, by chance or whatever, becomes the prime minister, what is this problem for him? Why does he have to leave abroad
No,
so
sir,
often, sir?
but this time he needs a break. These elections were really heartbreaking. And, he had campaigned in all the states, and Congress got good results in Karnataka, Telangana. Of course, in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, it was terribly disappointing. And they don't know whom to blame because they're blaming everybody except themselves. Already they are talking of, institutions, there is no level playing field. In fact, after the seizure of this cash in Jharkhand, from a Jharkhand Congress MP whom we discussed, Neeraj Sahu, the ecosystem has been talking about how institutions are being controlled by the BJP, the seizures of money, there is no level playing field. I saw even former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan agreeing with a leading TV personality. Yes, there is no level playing field. As if everybody had a right to this kind of monies. I mean, what a common people cannot, deal with, do transaction more than 20,000 rupees. And here is a person with 390 crores. And indirectly saying that, look, this money would have been of help for the Congress at some future time or a future date. Now, so the problem is, I think they are still not realizing, at least Congress has not realized that if people are rejecting it because the kind of policies, apart from a leadership problem, apart from the fact that you don't have a credible leadership, which the people are willing to compare with Prime Minister Modi and look as an alternative, apart from what are your policies that you want to tell the people? What are your alternative policies? Somewhere along you are mouthing, issues that sound more like adhere to the extreme left. Congress is a centrist party. You will have to get down to policies that reflect the central issues. A centrist line. Following the left line is not going to help because we know the fate of the left parties. Barring Kerala, it is very difficult. And the Congress has moved far to the left, sir. This I think most Congress people tell me. On every issue, the Congress pronouncement seen as against the Hindu community. Why should it be so? On economic policies, a party that brought reforms is today against any changes anywhere. It wants to go back to welfareism because you feel it brings votes. This is the first, elections where this has not worked because it worked in Himachal, it worked in Karnataka, and Congress feels it has worked in Telangana, but it didn't work in the north because people don't even believe their promises. And if Prime Minister Modi has converted to saying Modi ka guarantee, which is guarantee of implementation of the BJP's pledges to improve the lot of the people. So people are seeing what is happening on the ground, who is committed, and how these promises do not make sense if you are already receiving something. So Congress needs to look at all this because, of course, they want to forget this assembly elections. In fact, the ecosystem is talking as if these elections never happened. And the Congress has not suffered a setback. That's good for the BJP, but Prime Minister, sir, we mentioned in the last hangout, he is not taking it as a done deal. In fact, he feels, his worry is this cadre may become complicit. They will think Modi sab kuch kar dega. Modi sab kuch nahi kar payega. Modi can't do everything. He can, He can do a terrific campaign. He can exhaust himself to death. But ultimately, it is the rank and file. They'll have to take the message to the people. That's why he's constantly telling them, look, before the model code of conduct kicks in, see that our programs are implemented on the ground. He's telling the government officials. He's also telling his party cadres, go out, get information. Where is the lacuna? Is there a gap? But these results, particularly Madhya Pradesh results, are showing wherever the central government schemes have been implemented, particularly backward districts, whether Dalit dominated districts, tribal districts, the results are favoring BJP. And 24 is going to be a turning point, sir, because if BJP crosses the 2024 hurdle, they are looking at a scenario for the next 10 years, what should be done. I mean, that's the kind of planning which Prime Minister Modi has already done. And he gave a hint of this when he addressed last May in the new complex, the Pragati Maidan complex. And because they're already, Prime Minister already looking at what is to be done in 24, 25. And the things on cards are delimitation, women implementation of women's reservation, that is delimitation to increase the number of seats. What happens to the political scenario after the increase in number of seats? And those are going to change the dynamics of, because by the time you go for the next election, 2029, a lot of things would have been implemented, the political game would have changed. So 2024 election is a big game changer. Whichever party wins, whichever combination wins. But the mood among businesses, among the industry, you are seeing the Sensex. After the victory of BJP in these assembly elections, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, they are looking at return of Modi as the most stabilizing factor for economy. They are seeing as the one that will ensure their investments will bring return. They are seeing faster growth. They are seeing already the plans are rolling on for infrastructure development. That's going to boost the economy. You can see the mood of the industry. So these are things going to happen. An election is something like, people have to get over with. They are waiting for things to happen in 2024. So therefore, sir, this election is going to be very crucial. But I can see that the Congress has realized that in these elections did not add to its image of being a party that is willing to work with other opposition parties. So December 29th meeting will be one which will be very carefully watched whether Congress is changing its style, even if it cannot change its stripes.
Sir, the party that needs to have a major attitude adjustment, in my opinion, is Congress. They were strutting about before the state elections that they are going to win in 3 states and that we will tell you how many seats we will allow you to contest from each state. That was a messaging. It might not have been said in so many words, but it looked like that's what they were trying to impress upon. If you notice, the convener was bestowed upon Nitish Kumar before it was rudely snatched away by his rival in the state, Lalu. I'm always tempted to call with 2 L's at the second time, but anyway, Lalu Prasad Yadav. And everything was being called by Congress. They think that they are still in 2004. Now they need to do a serious attitude adjustment. And if they come back with a plan, it has to be more as first among equals, where mostly the equality is the underlying thing, that everybody is equal in states, especially where the regional parties are powerful. I don't know how that's going to go. Plus, there is a problem brewing in Tamil Nadu where Congress thinks that it should go with ADMK and DMK thinks that it needs to get rid of Congress from its own coalition. So there might be like, okay, good riddance. These guys go and join with ADMK. That will give for a new dynamic in Tamil Nadu. Your comments on that, and then we can talk about Mathura Idgah Survey. We have a fair amount of things to cover. Also, sir, if you don't mind waiting for a little bit, we still have to answer our viewers' questions. There are quite a few questions also. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to be very brief. So as far as Congress changing its attitudes, already the phone lines have been worked. Kharge has spoken to these leaders. Rahul spoke to Mamata. Mamata will be here next this week. She's planning a demonstration against Prime Minister. She's hoping to meet the Prime Minister. But her demand is that central has stopped funds for some of the programs, developmental programs, particularly for this rural employment guarantee scheme, what is called Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. She is planning some a publicized drama of sorts. I mean, probably she may even hold a demonstration to pressurize center to say that she's being denied funds out of political attrition. That's one thing. Now, the other thing you asked me about was about the attitude part is there, but the other thing is you asked me about, if I remember right, it was about
Even
what
I
is
forgot.
going. Okay, I mean, these are the things. Of course, there will be definitely an attempt to show that the December 19th meeting is a completely new start to the INDI Alliance.
Oh,
They're going
the
to do
other one was
that.
about TN alliances, Tamil Nadu alliances.
Yes. TN alliance, we are hearing a lot. We are hearing even BJP and PMK are probably close to an alliance. And
No,
ADMK is
that's
doing
not going to
everything.
happen.
No, the several things are happening. I mean, speculations. There's a speculation. But election is a time where people, defriend and refriend and do anything. But I think Congress is looking for a leadership change in the hope somebody can strike a better bargain. In fact, last October, when Sonia Gandhi, where all the Tamil Nadu Congresses were saying, telling her to impress upon the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin to allot little more, I mean, a more number of seats rather than what was allotted last time. But I am not sure. DMK is also shocked by the Congress results in the north, and
They
and
should
also in
be.
the
It was their
runoff.
statement. They should be. It was their
And
statement.
And I do not know if if Stalin has the courage of conviction, courage or conviction to say that he will again work to make Rahul Gandhi next prime minister. I don't think last time the slogan was Rahul as PM. That was the DMK slogan. So,
Thank you so much, sir. Now, in Mathura Idgah Survey, the Allahabad High Court has said that that survey may be conducted. Remember, viewers, Dr. Meenakshi Jain had come on our channel to discuss about the history of this, about how somebody had played mischief in the 60s and so on. It's a very detailed interview. Do go back and search on Meenakshi Jain in P Guru's channel of YouTube. You will find that interview. Do watch that thing to get a context. But long and short of it is that it is believed that Lord Krishna's birth took place in the center of the biggest gumbas that is there adjoining the temple that is there now. That is the exact place where Lord Krishna was supposed to have been born. And that is what is going to be now looked at much more closely. This is my information. Shekharji, you have much more, sir. Go ahead and explain and what you see as happening in the next few days.
yes, sir, this is a very, very, very significant order given by the Allahabad High Court, which the Supreme Court refused to stay, which is to allow a survey of the Shahi Masjid, which is adjacent to the Krishna temple in Mathura. And these 8 petitions have been filed, and including a petitioner claiming to be the next of kin of, Bhagwan Krishna, which is Virajman, which is there already. And they are seeking an appointment of a court-appointed commissioner to inspect the mosque complex. Allahabad High Court has agreed to appoint a commissioner, and on December the 18th, they are going to work out the modalities. And Supreme Court refused to stay. They said we'll hear it in the normal course. Now, a scientific survey of Janmabhoomi complex was ordered by Varanasi District Court last year. It was, and this time, and then what happened was after that, what you saw was the district session judge then directed Archaeological Survey India to undertake, bring it scientific inquiry. Then again, the matter went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said, go ahead. Now, that survey by Archaeological Survey of India is going on. And only on December 11th, the Archaeological Survey wanted some more time to complete their report, and they got a 1 more week report. Now, here the petitioners have particularly pointed out that the masjid has got what is called, they got a pillar in the shape of a lotus. There are other inscriptions show, like in Janmabhoomi Mosque, inscriptions show Hindi gods. There is something to show about 𝗓𝙪, which is a very typical Hindu thing. So the opening of the inquiry, of course, the Masjid committee, they are opposing this, saying that, look, you cannot open this for the simply ground. The Places of Worship Act, which the Narasimha Rao government had passed a public masjid, prevents this. You cannot go back. But sir, in this particular case, the interesting part which I am hearing from the lawyers for the Hindu side is that things changed in 1968. You mentioned about how there was an agreement, there was a compromise between people who were calling themselves as Sansthan, Sri Krishna Sansthan, and the INDI Management Committee. So people are saying the Places of Worship Act says as things were existed in 1947. In 1947, this new organization which came at 68 and which entered into a settlement with INDI committee, it's what has happened after 1947. So the petitioner is saying that this place would not be covered by the Place of Worship Act. Therefore, a survey should be allowed.
Yes. No. This is the thing, viewers. I think 2 or 3 videos are there. There's also a hangout with one of the lawyers himself. He talks about it at much detail. So do go back. P Gurus has an amazing repository of interviews that we have done over the years. This is something that I'm very proud of, because it establishes the context in no other in a very, very clear black and white terms. And also, it's one place. You should always think, let me see if it is available in P Gurus, whether it is pgurus.com or P Gurus website. I guarantee you, for the last 6-7 years, every important event that has happened in and around India has been touched upon by pgurus.com. I'm not boasting. Yeah, we are going to add these links in the description. I'm not boasting. But all I want from all of you guys is, please spread the word around. We are not here to make money off of this. In fact, we completely are dependent on your subscriptions and your ad revenues only. We are not taking any money from anybody else. So why I'm keeping on saying that is because we are not beholden to anyone. We do appreciate anything good. Even if the Congress does something good, we will be happy to appreciate it if they do something good. So anyway, so back to you, Shekhar-ji. Sir, finish your thought, sir. We are going to add these links in the description. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, the one thing is, sir, the point is, the people know that the mosque was built on the orders of Emperor Aurangzeb in 1670 at the site of an earlier temple. And the army of Aurangzeb demolished the temple, what was then known as, Katra Keshav Dev. And that happened between 1669 and 70, and construction was raised. And it was named 𝗙𝗍𝗍 Idgah because it was done at the orders of the emperor. 𝗙𝗍 means royal. Now, people have also produced that the order of demolition by Aurangzeb finds place in the official court bulletin, which was issued in January-February of 1670. Now, the Muslim side contention is this whole thing is a guesswork, that because Lord Krishna was supposed to be born in a Karagar. Karagar means jail. And they say, the Hindu petitioners say that it is below this. The Karagar is below, it was below it, and that's why it was demolished. Now, we all know that this particular land where the mosque came up was the site of a temple, and that it was a non-agricultural land. And this land was, before the mosque was built, the people are saying that Raja 𝗤𝙗𝙗 Bundela of Orcha and also built a temple at the same place in the same area in 1680. And that temple was not disturbed. And then subsequently in 1815, Raja Patni Mahal of Banaras bought 13.77 acres. And in an auction from East India Company, that place had become so important. Even then it had a great real estate sentimental value. Now the Raja's descendants, Rai Krishna Das, Rai Anand Das, so grows the chronicle, and sold the land to a 𝙥𝙀𝙘𝘀 Birla for 13,400 rupees. And then it was registered in the name of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya B.K. Lalji Atre, and Birlaji set up that original Birla, that Jugal Kishore Birla set up what is called a Janmabhoomi Trust. And it acquired the rights of this temple. And in 1951, the 13.77 acres were placed with the trust, with the condition that it never be sold or pledged. In 1956, this trust, this Janmabhoomi Trust acquires a new name. A Sree Krishna Janmabhoomi is set up to manage the temple. And in 1977, the word Sangh was replaced with Samastha. And there are a number of petitions have been in Mathura regarding this. The whole question is that all these things happened after 1947. So your Places of Worship Act does not convey this. So the people are seeing a pattern, what is happening in 𝗤𝙗𝙗 case also. Sir, in May 16th of 2022, you saw a videography of both the complex, Kashi Vishwanath complex and 𝗤𝙗𝙗 complex was completed by a commissioner appointed by the court. Now, during the survey, they found a structure which Hindu state claimed to be a shivling, and Muslim said it was a fountain, and they were washing for Vajukana, where they were washing their feet before going to offer prayers. Now, then a scientific survey was ordered by Varanasi District Court in July 21 this year. And again, this whole thing was challenged. It went up to Supreme Court. But in August, the decks were cleared and the survey is going on. As I said, the archaeological surveys. The people are seeing the resistance to a survey is because they feel that if some objects are noticed or if something, some artifacts are seen which is linked to the Hindu religion, it will only strengthen the people's conviction that Krishna, a temple dedicated to Lord Krishna, was demolished on the orders of Aurangzeb, and masjid was built. So therefore, I think this particular issue is the way the Allahabad High Court has given order, and of course the Allahabad High Court has said let the survey work is not going to do any harm. It doesn't change the current, because we are not getting into the title ownership or anything to do with this 13.77 acres. So.
Sridharji, is that mosque, Shahid Mosque, is that now sealed, or is prayer still going on there?
No, it's a normal. I mean, things are normal there. There is no sealing or anything. Only a survey has been ordered. It's a survey has been ordered. People are. I mean, there is no restrictions or anything. The survey is to only ascertain the claims of the Hindu petitioners, whether actually there are any things to show that there once existed a temple. Now, this is going to be a long process, because every stage you are going to see the matter coming up to the Supreme Court and going back, just as it happened in the 𝗤𝙗𝙗 box case.
See, today's technology allows you to do subterranean scanning without actually having to dig. So if somebody is allowed inside, they can immediately take the picture underneath to find out what is going on, like the way it was in Ram Mandir. That part cannot be hidden. My only concern is that any evidence destruction shouldn't take place. I don't know how that can be prevented. That's why I asked if it was sealed.
No, right now there is no such restrictions. Anyway, when the court appoints, because these modalities are going to be worked out when the Allahabad High Court takes up the matter again on December 19th, where a commissioner will be appointed, then he'll be assisted by a technical team that will carry all the equipment that you mentioned. That same thing happened. That's how the shivling was discovered in the 𝗤𝙗𝙗 coast. And as similar surprises could be in store, because these people move in with a lot of latest equipment. So.
Thank you so much, sir. A lot of information in a 1 hour capsule time. And now let's take a few questions from our viewers. Destiny's Child wants to know, can government make a blanket ban on halal products, especially for certain products consumed by the majority community?
We have already seen state governments like Uttar Pradesh taking action. And because the food standards are to be, are monitored by the state government. Of course, center has not come up with any particular rule. Whether, of course, you have seen Yogi government acting there. So that I do not know whether there is any government of India thinking of any such plan or for a central law.
Shekhar ji, is a ridiculous halal certification is being given for a comb, for a paste, for a toothbrush. These things don't need halal certification. Halal certification is only for a specific type of meat. So there has been a fair amount of encroachment of what is considered halal. And I think that is where all these things come. People need to discuss more about it, especially the fact that in some restaurant, somebody has to actually spit into it to certify that it is halal. That itself is very abhorrent to many people. So,
Sir, after what has happened in Uttar Pradesh, I think, and what could happen in Madhya Pradesh next, because the food safety standards are monitored by the respective state governments. In fact, it comes down to the municipal corporation level, where they conduct searches and all. But after that, like you have seen in Madhya Pradesh, for reasons hygienic and otherwise, the new chief minister has banned open sale of meat and eggs. That you cannot just do everything in the open and then allow flies, and in unhygienic condition they can't be sold. That has already created shivers. The new government in Madhya Pradesh has done it.
Same thing in Rajasthan too.
And sir, and what they are saying is what the manufacturers who put this label say, look, we don't whatever we produce, we also keep the export market in mind. And in West Asia, which is our main market, we do a lot of exports there. Then we don't have to separately, what we do is we do not know what is the kind of intent we get from those countries for export. So we normally market because it's just we do it so that products, the stock, the inventory, caters to both for the domestic, and that's the reason manufacturers are giving. But people are asking, why should we be using a product which is marked for a particular kind of consumers with a particular religious affiliation?
Sir, just so people understand, we used to make the same product. We were an OEM, original equipment manufacturer, to be retailed by 10 different companies in the countries of Japan, China, South Korea, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, and so on and so forth. And all these people, each one had a twist on what they wanted. And it is called SKU. So depending on what you need to change, sir, this is a matter of just a wrapper and a tube thing that it is halal certified. If Middle Eastern countries want toothbrush and toothpaste to be halal certified, you just change it at the wrapper level. It is not something that is impossible, Shekhar ji. India is a 80% market. You are asking the 80% to toe the line of the remaining 20%. That's not very good economic sense. I mean, that is why I see it. I put my business cap on. You have to deal with all these SKUs. That's all.
So that is the problem. They're always the tail trying to wag the dog.
No, sir, it doesn't work that way, sir. I mean, we have to be, sir. I'll tell you, I travel through Tamil Nadu every time I come to India. Way too much meat consumption, that too at the wrong hours of the day. It starts around 9 p.m. and goes till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Imagine somebody eating meat at that late at night. How the heck can they digest it? Guys, this digestion thing isn't going to change in one generation. For thousands of years, everybody has been told by Surya Astaman, you have to eat. You should go to sleep hungry. That is how you manage your weight. Today, everybody is suffering from obesity because we are not following this simple principle. Anyway, this is my 2 cents rant, sir. I am really concerned about how much meat is getting consumed. So, anyway, let's go to the next question. Hemant Karna wants to know, has B.L. Santosh from Coastal Karnataka faltered? Oh, we're going to, and handling Karnataka BJP, where there is dissent after BYV got elevated as state president. So, what is the latest in this, sir?
Well, there are people still, mumbling about, because recently some BJP MLAs were supposed to be seeing D.K. Shivkumar. So that set of rumors that the Congress is having a counter strategy to break the BJP, make them
Fair
resign.
game, sir. You do it, they'll also do it. What is the big deal?
So well, the BJP the central leadership, it's not just BL Santosh. The central leadership has taken a view that Yediyurappa's son, who is also a leader on his own rights by now, Vijendra has taken charge and he has to deliver because the BJP is keen on winning. Repeating the 2019 performance. They won 26 plus 1 independent. They supported Subalata out of the 28 seats from Karnataka. So there is a tall order for Vijendra. So that's one thing.
BYV, so it's usually like Vijayendra Yediyurappa. Normally, right? That is how people will name himself. So if you combine the first 2 letters, it is Y. So why him? So he has to change it to why not him. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Next one. Neta Mafia wants to know, did Rahul Gandhi cancel his foreign trip? A, in anticipation of this parliament attack. B, crisis after IT raids in 𝗤𝙗𝙗. C, Soros gang lost hope in him after election rout. You have a multi-choice question, sir.
Sir, but he is not cancelled. He just put it off because he is going after the December 19 meeting. He will, what we get to hear is, in fact, I think he will go after the 18th. They are having that rally, sir, that this donate for Desh. They are going to have this donate for Better Bharat. And to mark this whole thing, it's because this will be launched on December 18th, and they are going to have they say on December 28th, there will be a huge rally in Nagpur. Probably he will go after 19th, after the opposition meeting, and he'll be probably back for this December 28th meeting.
Next one, please. Veera Raghavan Narsimhan wants to know, is there any connection between the parliament incident and Sree RG cancelling his planned sojourn? I think we answered this question. Let's go on to the next one. Raghu Kashyap wants to know, Shekhar sir, can any citizen attribute a security breach to a perceived unemployment issue? Is it constitutional? A sensible citizen can say it is unconstitutional to resort to unruly. I think that's what he meant. Go ahead, sir.
So, well, sir, unemployment is an issue. Unemployability is also an issue. But we are recovering from the COVID period. Now, more and more, as the economy opens up, things are looking better. People are finding jobs with the change in the way the economy is picked up, particularly in India. A lot of businesses are back on their feet. A lot of people have got back jobs. Yes, there are a lot of people who cannot find jobs or who the jobs do not find them. Sir, if you look at the people who were involved in this attack, what have they done all these years? And sir, a majority of the youth are increasingly trying to do something on their own. Yes, there are frustrations because some of them want government jobs. That is why this clamor for quota and all that. But a lot of people also know that the government is not going to provide jobs for all of them. But here the issue is politically sensitive. Yes, unemployment is a perennial problem, not just in India, in all countries. But when things are looking up, but if you are going to say that the only answer is, you jump in parliament, you throw a bomb and that will provide jobs, I do not know how. And why should opposition encourage that? We have to debate on policies to generate more employment. And employment generation itself cannot be a primary goal unless you are looking at ways to boost the economy. Jobs can be created only if you create an environment to bring in investment. And we will have to move a lot of people from the unorganized sector. And, from the rural side to, you have to go back to that. That was the idea behind this push. But here we are talking of welfareism. In the last elections, they talked of universal giving an employment dole. Congress may again come with another big idea. They may repeat that unemployment dole. Because we should not be encouraging to put a premium a political premium on highlighting the issue of unemployment. Rather, we have to look at ways to generate employment. And you cannot accuse government of Narendra Modi not being concerned about employment. In fact, they have been trying to come up with several schemes to encourage entrepreneurship even at a very, very small level. Some small businesses, medium businesses, individual efforts.
Mudra scheme.
Mudra scheme. I mean, and so many people have availed of loan and trying to do something. Sir, all of them are not planning to breach parliament and jump inside 10 feet down and break their leg.
Next one, please. Krishnamurti Honagund wants to know, sir, was the plan for attackers to approach the prince so that he can disarm them heroically because the ecosystem was ready to make him a savior with the pre-planned posters?
Sir, we know Rahul Gandhi has a very, is very particular about his fitness. In the house, that the pictures that came from there, he was just looking at them. In fact, the other MPs who went and caught them and bashed them up. And because there were other MPs, one belonging to Punjab from the Congress, there was one from Gujarat. They bashed up the people inside. MPs, those who wanted to show their, bull, they showed it inside. They rained more than a couple of blows before handing over to security. And
next one, please.
Some of these, one boy said, look, one person said, I'm from Lucknow, don't beat me. He thought that some of them may be from Lucknow,
Next one. Adil wants to know one historical question. Were Bhagat Singh and Subhash Chandra Bose communists, and why communist movements in India became anti-India post-62 war?
Sir, Bhagat Singh was definitely inspired by because he was inspired by left. There's no doubt about it. And but he considered himself as who believed that you had to fight the colonial masters, and that cannot be done by any peaceful method. You have to make them to come to senses, to realize the potential of Indians. So that's why he resorted to that course. Subhash Chandra Bose was not exactly a communist, but he also believed that India's problems could be only solved after independence, and British people could not be, the British rulers could not be engaged by mere, by pacifism. You have to show them your might. That was the approach. Now, post-independence, what has happened? Our communist parties kept looking to Soviet Union or to China, and there were differences of opinions. That's why they split into CPI and CPM. Of course, alongside, you also saw that split led to a situation where some of the communist leaders who felt that more and more the communist parties were beginning to accept election as a way, to bring about change. That's why you saw many of the radical leaders moving away, like Kanu Sanyal, Charu Masubdar. That is how the CPI Marxist-Leninist was born in the late 60s. So, but all along this problem has been there, where, of course, there are some areas where the communist parties have, in the early periods, the early period of our year, they have fought for, rights of the unorganized class, agricultural labor. They fought for land sealing. They fought against the feudals, particularly in Andhra Pradesh, the undivided Andhra Pradesh, Bihar. There we have seen communist movements for the sake of the kulaks, for the people who were tilling the land but did not own the land.
Adil, one of the things that I can tell you is a mystery that will come out in the due course of time is, remember, Mountbatten came to actually give the transfer. The work was done by the one who preceded him, that was Lord Wavell, Wavell. And it is believed that Gandhi and he signed several side letters. What a side letter is, usually it gets buried underneath this huge thick document of what is the main resolution. And those side letters indicate a lot of things that Gandhi agreed to without even perhaps Congress knowing about it. These things will come out one day because, see, the thing about how Jawaharlal Nehru became the president of Congress in 1946, there are so many different district committees that elected Sardar Patel. If Patel had become the Prime Minister, India would have been in a different orbit, completely different from this. And Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, they were all socialists. They were romantics at heart, in the sense that whoever went to study in UK, in Cambridge and Oxford during the 1970s, 20s and so on, there was a socialist wave that was going through the campuses. It was considered cool to be a socialist. And that is what they brought back with them to India. In fact, the Congress leadership was so blind that they did not see that it was the United States that was the leader post the Second World War. Britain was completely bankrupted. As to how they couldn't even open the New York paper to read how New York was the one, or US was the one who was funding the entire Second World War effort. I mean, it beats me. It is a lot of immaturity there, where they should have seen that it was America that was the leader at that point of time, and they chose to still stay with Britain. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Let's go to the next question, please. You have to read a lot, then you'll understand. Yeah.
No, I'll just only add that, the ideology blinded our leftists. I mean, you see, in Bengal, initially when Jyoti Basu took over, the first 2 years you saw a lot of land reforms under Binoy Rai Chaudhary, and those were years. But after some time, the leftists could not offer anything in Bengal. And that the legacy that they brought, militant trade unionism, that completely finished Bengal. Bengal, which was once considered a leading state in industrialization. The period when the British had left, or there were a lot of industries functioning in Bengal. But those industries, by the time leftists took over in 77, they were all brought to grinding halt because of militant trade unionism, where managers were beaten up, managers were killed. And after that, they could never attract investment. And Jyoti Basu was that, a typical Marxist who had those tastes of not of a proletariat. And finally, by the time they realized that the agricultural reforms were important, but that could not be only. And by the time, when the Jyoti Basu fell ill and Buddhadev Bhattacharya took over, Buddhadev Bhattacharya, sir, he realized that communists had made mistake. You have to attract investment. You have to reindustrialize Bengal. That is why he went to attract investment. But by then, since communists, he tried to change the approach of the communist government. Mamata took over to be a more radical communist, though she was supposed to be fighting leftists. And Mamata won the mandate on the basis of fighting for a status quo, which was against the people, by trying to show that she's more left than the left itself. And since then, you have seen Mamata is still struggling. She goes to Italy, she goes to Spain to attract investment. And till date, what do you see there? I mean, you are still given the condition of law and order, and that you have not seen any big investment under Mamata's rule. She is into second term now, rather third term.
Next one, please. Venkatraman wants to know, if unemployment has caused it, is RG talking about his own?
Venkatraman, this is a very good one. Very good one.
Maybe he is. That brings us to a close of today's session. Sir, it was a little bit longer. Thank you so much. Viewers, also thanks for staying on. And we will be back again on Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. on a Hindi session with Shekhar ji. And please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, Sree.
Bye.